to be conscious of. Pure semantics of the language tells us that consciousness must be first, because we are telling consciousness is conscious of. So actually what it means that consciousness is present before any thought emerge from the brain or from the system as that. And any complex system has its own thinking process. Difference between people and the AI is in that we have that conscious field that is conscious of emotions, things, memories, and everything that we are conscious of. So before everything else, before we became conscious of anything else, the consciousness must be there and not the other way around, as some scientists try to convince us. Many sciences tells us that there is thought that is first there, that it arises from the brain, and after then the consciousness come out of who knows where. And that explanation offers a big explanatory gap, which is something that we can transcend with pure anything, logic, thinking, or anything else. Because we are speaking of two separate things. The brain is material process, is something out of matter, out of atoms, out of material processes, out of physically perceivable signals, or measurable signals, or detectable signals. And interesting is that we cannot measure the thought or the level of consciousness unless we ask someone what means for that particular person to have a thought, to be conscious, to have a feeling, or whatever. So we need to address something that is conscious. And the funny thing is that we are addressing that thing that is conscious from our own internal conscious state. So if we want to know something, there is no predictability or prediction of what we might ask, but the first, we must be aware what is around us, and in the framework of that awareness we are producing some kind of conjecture of something which is interested what is that thing there. So if we apply that thinking or model or whatever I'm speaking about to the reality, the consciousness or pure awareness is on the one side of the scale, and in the other side of the scale is pure thought, that is unaware, unconscious. And between those two focal points there is a slight movement of the consciousness. And if consciousness is moved or if it's on the side of pure awareness, then we are purely aware, and we are conscious that we are aware. And when the consciousness is on the side of the thought, then we full know that our thought is conscious. The problem with the perception is that the majority of people is on the side of the thoughts and mental field, because everybody, almost everybody on that world, force other people to think from the mental field and to feel and to imagine emotions and everything else from the mental field. And when consciousness somehow releases the thought, then it has a free space to travel toward awareness. And the more it is dragged toward pure awareness, the more, interestingly, conscious of itself the consciousness is. Because if the consciousness is on the side of the thought, then consciousness is conscious of the thought and not of itself. The thought is main attractor that prevents the consciousness to be aware of itself. And when we are on the side of the thought, then we are actually predicting as AI. Then we are imagining as AI. Then we are actually thinking what should be the next step. And the more we move toward awareness or pure awareness, the more the intuition has the ability to come true and to let everything to be just as it is. And there are many people who are actually more intuitive or more, let's say, empathetic in sense they are empaths, not empathetic in sense that they are trying to fill somebody else's shoes. And this is also actually something that can be put in that scale I'm talking about. So if you want to be conscious, then it's very good thing to train yourself to not rely on emotions, on feelings, on thoughts that arise from the mental processes. And a lot of people today are actually on that side because they want to feel how it's good to be related to something. And as soon there is something that we needs to be related to, we are in the thinking process, not in the process of awareness. So everyone has a choice what and how he or she would look on oneself. If we want to look or experience our own experience as thinking process, then this is a prediction process. Also, okay, I will go there because they are good emotions, and I will join those people and I will do this and that because here are good emotions. This is pure ego thing that comes from thinking process. And instead of letting go and just be whatever comes and let it to come, we are heavily relying on conditioning. And that conditioning is something that comes out of schooling, out of governance, out of socializing, and so on. So awakening is actually awakening from the pure thinking process to awareness process. So, have you thought about it? Which side do you want to be? Do you want to force your thoughts shape your reality, or do you want to let it go and just leave? Let reality presents to you whatever you need to be presented to you by life itself. Funny thing is that everybody thinks that they need to shape whatever they need to see.